I'm joined here today by Roxanne Modafferi, coming off, of course, that huge win over Maycee Barber at UFC 246. Big fight week. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. And let's talk about it a little bit because I feel like this fight flew a little bit under the radar going in, and now it's kind of blown up into this huge story. I mean, how does it feel the aftermath of such like a big event?
Man, I'm just so happy to have won and you know, the opportunities that come with that. And it's kind of surprising to me about what's been going on. Like, in publicity is good. People are still talking about our fight. Unfortunately, it's because she got hurt and then her father
Right.
said some things. So, I mean, I don't know. It's like very bizarre to me.
So what's it like mentally going into this fight? Because we know it's a tough one. I mean, if we're being honest, they're putting you up against the younger fighter and everything like that. She's undefeated. What's your mentality like going into this one?
My mentality wasn't really being afraid of a younger fighter, because I know that I've gotten stronger and I still have a chin, I can still take a punch, despite my mileage. So I wasn't afraid at all, and I thought that I would have, no, I knew I would have a technique advantage, and I've been working on that as well. So I knew that I could do it. I just had to go out there and do it because, I believe that anybody can beat anybody at any given time.
Of course, and I believe you're at an astonishing, I think, 40 fights. Do you feel like that experience was a big key for you? 45.
Hmm. Um, no, I beat some more experienced than me when I was an up and comer, so you never really know. But
For
I
sure.
did have more technique knowledge, so in that way, experience would help me, and also
Right.
mental experience. I've been there. I know what to do.
And I do want to talk before the fight because we saw that you sent her a DM about the hotel. There was a weight cutting issue. What was going on there exactly?
No, we both like to cut weight in the bathtub, and I know sometimes hotels in Vegas don't have bathtubs, and I both wanted us to make weight. I wanted us both to make weight, so I just sent her a DM giving her a heads up, and then she did it, which is whatever. More publicity, cool, whatever.
Well, was there any hesitation to messaging her? Because we do know when it comes to DM, she has a rich history sort of publishing it and turning it into a big deal.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, with Paige Van Zandt and her boyfriend and all that stuff.
Oh, okay, no, I didn't know. I just figured whatever, message her.
And like you mentioned, she posted a screenshot, but did she say anything to you? Like, did she thank you for, the common courtesy?
No, she didn't. I mean, I just don't know. It would have been nice to know that she had read it because I was worried that she hadn't read it. So there's
Right.
no little thing that said run it, but whatever.
For sure.
she,
Obviously,
she
you're
okay. She's always been cool to me. She's never been rude to me.
right.
I run into her at the PI, so as far as I know, we're cool.
Right, for sure. So you're a part of this big event, 246. Obviously, with Connor fighting and everything, it's a big deal. Did this feel like a huge event for you with sort of everything that was going on?
I didn't really think about anything else because I start getting anxious if I start thinking about the surroundings or the consequences or anything like that. I just try to focus on the actual fight, what I have to do. That's how I kind of mentally like handle the stress of the event of fighting. I
Right.
try not to think about too many things. So no, I didn't really. I try not to let myself think about it. I just focused on the fight, my fight.
All right, and let's talk about the fight a little bit. Obviously, it was a great performance. I mean, I believe you got the dominant victory out there. How do you look back at your performance with this one? Is this something ultimately that you're happy with?
I'm really happy, and actually, yesterday and today I watched it with with my jujitsu coach, Mike Pyle, just asking him, "Hey, what could I have done better?" And he basically gave me a lot of praise and said that I was doing well, did a lot of good transitions. My striking was great, my transitions were great, all around. He just gave me a few tips, but I'm like super happy, now that I've watched it, and I have more than just the initial impression. So I'm happy with my performance.
And how did you feel while you were watching it? I mean, you touched on your coach a little bit, but you personally, how are you feeling as you're watching it unfold?
Um, Good, excited.
All right, for sure. And we saw her get injured in between rounds. Is this something that you realized during the fight, or is this something that you kind of realized in the aftermath?
Um, I real like I punched her and she fell down. So I mean, and that she wasn't doing great, but I
Right.
didn't realize her leg actually injured until between the second and third round. The doctor checked on it, and Mike was yelling, "Keep it standing!" Um, uh,
And so you as a competitor, when you hear that, is there any thought to using that to your advantage? Like, a lot of fighters, sometimes they'd kick it and stuff like that. What was going through your mind when you sort of realized that she was hurt?
My first thought was that, okay, she hurt her knee, so she probably won't be able to move very fast. So I'm going to try to move a lot and punch her a lot. Like, I didn't even think to kick the leg. Like, I felt
Right,
kind of bad. Like, oh no, she's injured. Like,
right.
no. I mean, I didn't cause injury. Like if I had done a lot of low kicks and bruised her leg, I probably would have kept kicking it. But it was like, I mean, one of my philosophies is to make the person give up without injuring them.
Yeah.
So that's my jiu-jitsu philosophy. So I think just my brain thought how I could take advantage of it without hurting her more. I mean, it's just me, I guess.
And we saw your ground game, of course, shine in this fight, and we've seen it in the past few fights, especially against these younger fighters. Do you think people aren't understanding just how high level your ground game is? I mean, what do you think that is?
I was reading Share Dog today, and people were saying like how much she sucks on the ground. She does not suck on the ground. Okay, I would think that I'm just not bad, pretty good maybe. She like when I was trying to pass her half guard, she was shrimping, inching her hips out, not really letting me turn hips that way. So I couldn't get an easy half guard pass. I like really had to work for it. She was able to bridge me, turn me over, reverse me. She got this funky like key lock thing that reversed me. Like she was dangerous still. I had to like my best. I was able to be dominant and I am the better ground fighter, but she was not bad. She didn't suck, or else I would have finished her immediately, right? So, props to her. And props to me, I think, if I
Right,
can say
yeah.
that. Like,
Of course.
both of us.
And after the fight, I think we do have to talk about it a little bit. Her dad put those comments on social media. I'm curious from your end, how did you find out about it? Did you see it because you were scrolling? Did someone send it to you? How did you find out?
I was training, and then one of my teeth came up to me and said, "Hey, did you hear about blah blah blah?" And I said, like, "What, really?" And that was kind of a bummer. Like, I always give somebody the benefit of the doubt. Like, oh, maybe Maycee didn't mean to diss me by accident in the ring
Right.
when she took the mic. That's fine. She's young, whatever. But then, like, her father said that, she didn't lose to a superior fighter. She lost because of bad luck. It's like, all right, well, that was pretty obviously
Yeah.
dissed me. But, dads are biased. They're supposed to be, on their daughter's side, which is fine. But it kind of makes her look bad. So I don't think she's made a statement, but whatever. I'm not upset about it. It's just kind of like I'm just sitting back watching my fans like lambaste this guy.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I mean it's more publicity, but I mean everybody's talking about her knee injury, which I don't know. It's very bizarre to me. I've never had this happen to me before.
For sure. And you talked about her grabbing the mic a little bit before you did. What was your reaction? 'Cause I know after the fight, there's so much going on through your mind and everything. What was your reaction when you saw her sort of grab the mic and start speaking?
I was just like, we just had this battle, and I was standing there breathing heavily, staring at them. Like I didn't even know what was supposed to happen. Like, oh, she's complimenting me. Okay, like I know that wasn't supposed to happen. I knew that I was
Right.
going to get interviewed. I was excited. Sometimes you don't get interviewed, right? So the fact that
Yeah.
Joe Rogan was there about to interview me, I was like, oh, so excited. I was thinking about what I was going to say. So I think to answer your question, I was standing there trying to remember all my coaches' names to shout out to, because once before I forgot to shout out to my trainer Lorenzo. I was so mad at myself. So when he like came over, I'm like, okay, I got to thank John. I got to thank AJ. I got to thank Mike. I got to thank Lorenzo. Okay. And then that's what I was thinking. And
And
then she like stumbled, and I like wanted to catch her. Like I didn't want her to fall and leg, so that was going great.
right. But that did bring up the topic of people were saying how bad she came off after that and how good you came off and how people were citing you as a role model and everything. With that being said, what would you say to those younger fighters that sort of look up to you and that need to take care of their image? As someone that's in a good position like that, what would be your advice to them?
Man, it's an honor to be looked up to like that. It would be great if people valued the martial artist honor, and just try to be polite to each other and just try their best to do the right thing, I guess. Just be respectful and be honorable, pretty much.
And we found out after this fight, I believe your fight peaked at, I think it was 1.9 million people on ESPN. What was your reaction when you found that out? Because those are huge numbers.
That's so exciting. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's my reaction. Like, oh man, really? Like, we got a peak? That's so awesome.
For sure. And after this win over Maycee Barber, what does this do for your career at this point? I mean, does that get you closer to the title shot? I mean, what does this do for you at this point?
It does so much for me, man. Like, I don't have to worry about if I'm going to get cut or not. Like, it rose me in the ranks. I know I have more of a career, good for my contract, good for my image, good for my bank account, good
Right.
for, like, everything. Just, it's awesome. Good for my coaches. My coaches, are getting congratulations, and then, maybe more fighters will want to come train with us. We had just had a few
Yeah.
girls join the gym. It's like, everything. Like, more kids are coming to my jiu-jitsu class now. A lot.
And
Cool.
we
Like,
didn't.
man, like, people don't realize, like, what wins and losses do for a fighter. Like, you win, all the things I just said. You lose, like, your stock goes down, you get half your money, like, you're depressed for weeks. You friggin', man, like, it's crazy how a fighter's life, like what's that movie example? Like, the time dimensions, like, different, what is it, Flash, like,
Oh
that
yeah.
moment in time, like, makes your life go in such different paths.
And when you say that, I assume fans they don't really realize that side. I think they kind of see when the fighters win, but I guess they don't see the aftermath when you do end up on a loss.
Yeah, and, like, people, it's an event every other weekend, right? So a lot of fans are like, oh, that was awesome. Okay, a day goes by. Okay, on to the next one, But, it's, fighters go through a lot. But I think people are starting to realize more and more nowadays that, there's a lot of social media, and fighters are posting more on social media. They can
Right.
kind of into their lives a little better. And I'm all over the place. I have nothing to hide. I'm all over every kind of social media.
And so one thing I did want to ask you about, I mean, we mentioned the fights. I believe we said it was 45 fights. You've been around for a long time. You're considered a veteran, a pioneer in women's MMA. At the end of your career, what do you want to be remembered for? Like, when people look back at Roxanne Modafferi's career, what do you want, like, the talking points to be?
I think I want to be remembered for always being honorable and representing the martial artist spirit, and also working hard and getting stronger from basically no talent. Like, no talent, no natural athleticism, but just working hard, being a genius of work, like Raku from Naruto, and just getting it done.
For sure. And that brings me to my last question, kind of a two-part question, but when do you think we'll see you back out in the cage? And ideally, who would you want next to help you further your career?
Please ask the UFC matchmakers. I have no idea. They decide these things. I have no call on that, no say. I really don't care who I fight, as long as it's someone who can make weight, not Jennifer Maya, because she just weight and I'm mad.
Right.
Not Joanne Calderwood, because she's my teammate. So anybody else I'm good.
All right, for sure. Well, we look forward to it. Thanks so much for the time, Roxanne. I really appreciate it. And congratulations on the victory. It was a huge one, and it's good to see you get all this shine.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and thanks for tuning in.